This is the extension of the previous video, part 3. We used to discuss the various definition in infectious disease, general epidemiology, various definitions and concepts. Okay, so continue with that thing. Uh, the important definition here we are going to discuss are infectivity, pathogenicity, and virulence. What do we understand by infectivity? Infectivity is nothing but the ability of an infectious agent to invade and multiply to produce the infection in a host. What do we understand by the pathogenicity? Pathogenicity is the ability to induce clinically apparent illness. And what do we understand by the virulence? Virulence is the proportion of the clinical cases resulting in severe clinical manifestation, including sequelae. Now, three more important definitions: zoonosis, epizootic, and enzootic. What do we understand by the zoonotic? Particularly, it is an infection or infectious disease transmissible under natural condition from vertebrate animal to man. For example, rabies from vertebrate animal dogs to human being. So basically, rabies is an example of zoonosis. There are more two subgroup of zoonosis: epizootic and enzootic. Like in human being, we can have epidemic and endemic. Okay, in animal kingdom, we can find epizootic and enzootic. What do we understand by epizootic? An outbreak, or we can say epidemic of disease in animal population. What about the enzootic? It is an endemic occurring in animal. For example, anthrax, rabies, brucellosis, bovine tuberculosis, endemic typhus or tick typhus. These are all the example of enzootic. But in case of plague in the rat population, to start with, it is termed as epizootic. Further subgroupings of zoonosis or typing of zoonosis can say based on the direction of the transmission can be divided into anthropozoonosis, zoonoanthroposis, amphizoonosis. So basically anthropozoonosis is a infectious infectious disease or infection transmitted to man from vertebrate animal. For example, rabies. So basically we have to remember in this manner from zoonotic to anthropo means man. Okay, zoono means animal. So infections transmitted to man from vertebrate animal. What about the zoonoanthroposis? Reverse than the anthropozoonosis. It is the infection transmitted from man to vertebrate animal, like human tuberculosis in cattle. What about the amphizoonosis? It is the infections which are maintained in both man and lower vertebrate animals and may be transmitted in either direction, from man to animal or from animal to man. The cruise infection or Japanism are the two examples of amphizoonosis. What about the apornithic or exotic? These are the two important infectious disease concepts that we need to remember. Apornithic means it is an outbreak or epidemic of disease in bird population. What about exotic? It is the disease which are imported into a country in which they don't otherwise occur. For example, yellow fever. India don't see any case of yellow fever, but if it is imported from the African country to India, then it is considered as exotic disease. Now the last slide of this video, what what is the definition of surveillance? Most common definition, most common Viva question asked several times in our exam. Surveillance. Define the surveillance. So basically, it's a continuous scrutiny of all aspects of occurrence and spread of disease that are pertinent to effective control. Modified definition of surveillance that we can find in standard textbooks. It is systematic and continuous collection, analysis, and interpretation of data, closely integrated with timely and coherent dissemination of result and assessment to those who have right to know so that action can be taken. So it's a full cycle. It starts with the systematic and continuous collection, analysis, and interpretation of the data, and it is closely integrated also with the timely and coherent dissemination to those who are going to take the action. What about the sentinel surveillance? It is a method of identifying the missing cases and thereby supplementing the notified case in the cases is required. Another confusing definition always with the surveillance is monitoring. Monitoring means it is a kind of periodic exercise of all the agencies are carrying out the activity as per guidelines. So with this definition, this is the end of this video. Keep watching the videos which are in lineup in the same topic. Thank you. Thank you very much.